choice that you can make is that it is your choice. Health is your choice, but that doesn't always mean it's an easy choice. What's up, everybody? Skylar Dean here, founder of Reach Fat Loss and Fitness, where our goal is to help get you in the best shape of your life, losing fat, building muscle, and doing it all without the counting calories, weighing all your food, without any torturous cardio, and definitely without any sucky dieting where you hate your life. In today's video, I just had to make a video about this, man. Wow, we're going to be going through a post that was actually DM'd to me by one of my clients, and she's got 10 different reasons of why the wellness industry wants your cash, not you well. So they don't, apparently the claim here is the wellness industry doesn't want you well, they just want your cash. And I think it depends what she defines as the wellness industry, and as we get into it, you're going to hear my thoughts. 100% you're going to hear my thoughts. If you are tuning in for the first time, you're not a member of this channel, I'd love for you to tap that subscribe button to join. We're putting out new videos every single week here to get you in the best shape of your life. And if you are looking for fat loss help, if you've really struggled, you've done the dieting, you haven't been able to stay consistent, make sure you check the free training in the description of this video. In that video, I lay out our fat loss strategy, why it's so effective, and how you can get started with it. So without further ado, we're going to go into this post. Full transparency, so I have not decided yet if I would like to blur out this woman's Instagram account or not. As a little background, we've got someone here who has 130,000 followers, so she is well known, plain and simple. She is not a nobody on Instagram. And I think a lot of the times, like when someone with 200 followers makes a post, like maybe their followers will now take some of that information and spread it, but a lot of times it's like, well, your opinion is not influential enough to spend the energy trying to fight it. But when you have 130,000 followers, you should be pretty careful about what you say, right? And so let's go into it. 10 reasons why the wellness industry wants your cash, not you well. Number 10, it took 2 weeks for the industry to pivot in 2020, promoting immune boosting foods for a condition that still has nothing to do with food. I need to be careful what I say here because I like not being shadow banned or demonetized. The food you eat has an impact on the strength of your immune system. Now, are there immune boosting foods per se? No. I look at it the other way of there are foods that lower your immune system, and those are the processed, unhealthy foods. Okay. 2 weeks for the industry to pivot in 2020, promoting immune boosting foods. I think also the industry has an understanding about what health is, and a lot of people, plain and simple, don't. That may sound bad, but a lot of people think that all these rare, weird conditions come out of nowhere and there's nothing that we can do, whereas for most things, food, health, the way you're treating your body, your mind are typically the source. And so when we have this new disease that we've never had before, a lot of people go into believing that, hey, if you clean up your diet, you strengthen your immune system through eating healthy, real foods and moving and doing all these other small habits, like you have a greater chance of being able to fight this thing. I'm not going to go too deep into this one on this video, especially because, and what we'll see is that a lot of these things are, the wording matters and it's very important and the intention behind it. So we'll go to number 9. Keto is still Atkins, rebranded with coconut. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Keto's high fat, and I don't really know much about the Atkins diet, but I do know it's high fat. I think the wellness industry, like keto is a style of eating, but I'm not going to go against that one. I agree with you there. Number 8, alkaline eating is not a thing. Nothing you eat will change your pH. This is good. Survival. I also can't really speak against this one. So I did grow up learning a little bit about the alkaline way of eating, or quote diet, and the idea that some foods are alkaline, some are acidic. And while I can't speak specifically to studies about alkaline versus acidic, the foods that are alkaline are pretty much always healthy for you and better to eat. And while not all acidic foods are unhealthy, a large portion of the acidic foods are unhealthy. So, or lacking in nutrients would be a better word for someone who's being very critical of this. And so, yeah, so I'm not going to fight this, but I will say is a lot of alkaline foods are more nutritious. They're more nutrient dense, and so it's going to be better for you to include them in your diet. Number 7, you cannot hack your health. Once again, the word choice, hack, right? What do we mean by hack? Hack is such an interesting word because it can have different meanings. And so if you look at, you cannot hack your health as in like you put in like a cheat code and then all of a sudden you're extremely healthy. Yeah, you probably can't do that. If you look at like biohacking, right? Hacking your biology in the terms of knowing how your body responds and using certain stimulus on purpose to get your body to respond in your way, then yes, you can do that. Right? If you look at endorphins coming from cold exposure, going into a cold tub intentionally, your body's going to respond in a certain way and it's going to allow you to achieve certain things. Something like fasting, which is what we do with our clients, is something that I do. By the way, get it off my chest, right now I'm in the middle of a 7-day fast, my first ever 7-day fast, and I'm on day 2. I'm feeling fantastic, and I'm going to be documenting the process. I haven't told anybody, so if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe because I'm putting out that video. But fasting, right? A way to hack, in a way, your metabolism to make it go faster, to allow your body to not have to worry about digesting food, to allow it to take care of a bunch of other stuff. Autophagy, cleaning out old damaged cells, building new ones, allowing you to burn fat and use fat for fuel instead of food. There's a lot of benefits. So in that way, you can hack. So to say you cannot hack your health really depends on the definition of hack, plain and simple. All right, this is where we get fun. Number 6, the only real appetite suppressant is food. I'm kind of speechless on this one. And again, she's right, but there's stipulations. And I scrolled through her profile and I saw something else of like, the only cure to hunger is to eat more, right? And what she's not mentioning in this post, which again, it's all in the semantics, it's all in the things that aren't mentioned and the things that it's capitalizing on assumptions, right? We read this and we assume something without understanding the full story. And so if you're telling someone the only way to reduce your appetite is to eat food, you're not taking a look at, number one, foods have been created in labs and there are entire departments dedicated to getting you chemically addicted, to shut down your hunger signal, to suppress your fullness hormones and to allow you to have more hunger. And so the only real appetite suppressant, like yes, if you're hungry, eating is potentially going to help you be full. Fasting can help you be full, right? And in the moment, if you're hungry, of course not. Of course, fasting isn't the move. You have to do this strategically, but also cutting out the artificial ingredients that are spiking those cravings, that are allowing you to suppress the fullness hormone and to spike up the hunger hormone to keep you coming back for more. So I'm assuming with this number, she's going at like certain supplements, like there's certain supplements out there that are claimed to suppress hunger, and I haven't had any experience with that. I do believe in their efficiency and I do believe that some, but at a more fundamental level, I don't think people should rely on appetite suppressants, because if you're hungry, your body's telling you it wants something. And if you've eliminated the artificial ingredients and you're just going with real food 80 to 90% of the time, then if you're still hungry, it's telling you you're lacking certain nutrients. And so you have to figure out, what can I consume to create this fullness instead of just consuming empty carbs, empty calories. So again, semantics. It's in what the assumptions are. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to agree or disagree with that one. Number 5, clean eating is not a thing. Wash your hands and dishes tidy. Kind of seems like chin up. Like clean eating is not a thing. Very pompous attitude. Again, depends on your definition, right? Like clean eating probably means real food. Plain and simple. Eating clean is real food. There's a lot of artificial garbage in most people's cabinets at home, from man-made ingredients to tons of sugar being extracted and then put into a food. It's not really a natural thing. We didn't have sugar by itself hundreds of years ago. And so clean eating has a stigma, it has an idea behind it, right? We're going to eat clean. We're going to eat real foods. To say it's not a thing is to argue with the English language and what cultures have created. So it's a little pompous. Yeah, I don't like the energy behind that one, but we're going to keep going. 4, this was a good one. There are 0 health conditions that occur only in fat bodies. 0. Now, here is the problem with something phrased like this. Now, this is true. There are 0 health conditions that occur only in fat bodies. Okay? Here's the problem. Number 1, there are conditions that occur much more in fat bodies. Heart disease, diabetes, right? Can these conditions occur in skinny people? Yes, 100%. But are they more likely to show up in people who are obese, who are overweight? Yes, 100%. Okay? So number 1, that. The problem with how she's phrasing this is that when people read this, they read that her intent, and I know this firsthand, I'm going to tell you in a second why. They read that her intent is that being fat is not a problem. That's what they read, that being fat is not going to lead to health conditions, when that's not what she means, is what I'm assuming. There are 0 health conditions that occur only in fat bodies. 0. While she's correct, it's like, what's the point in saying that? It is not healthy to be overweight. You cannot argue that. The chances of you having heart disease, diabetes, a stroke, calcium in your arteries, any of these other things, it skyrockets if you are overweight. If you have layers of visceral fat over your organs, they're going to put pressure on your organs. Your body systems are going to slow down, have to work through a lot of other things. It's not healthy. So why are you putting this? Like, you're including these semantics to try to make a point that you're right. I just don't get it. I don't get the point of this post. And so the person who DM'd this to me said a couple things. What would be your response to some of the claims made about food and no health benefits to not being fat? So she perceived this as the claim here that there's no benefit to not being fat. That's the deduction. And a lot of people do this because they're not taking the time to read in the semantics, and there's no problem with it. But as someone who has 130,000 followers, you need to be aware of that. And so by saying there are 0 health conditions that occur only in fat bodies, you're making a point, I guess. You're saying a fact. But what is the idea behind it? It's just very tough. okay? Especially when in this caption it says the wellness industry exists because racism, patriarchy, healthism, fat body oppression, and capitalism are realities. And it's really tough when you go into the comments and you see all the people who are just like, yes, this is so true, yes. Okay. Next one. 3, wellness culture posits health as a choice. This is an oversimplified lie. This one's tough. Here's what I believe. I believe that the reason that so many people are overweight is because of forces outside of them. Lack of education, ingredients, busy jobs that make it hard for people to be active throughout the day, financial situations, especially in inner city communities that make it harder to afford healthy food, right? And so we're set up to have health be difficult. However, health is still our choice. Health is still our responsibility, right? Because we have 2 opportunities here. We have 2 choices. Number 1 is look at all the reasons that the cards are stacked against us and throw our hands up and say it's difficult. What's the point anyway? And then what's the payoff of that? Life is a little easy now, but in 30, 40, 50 years, you're going to have tons of health issues. You're going to die early, and life is not going to be as good as it could be. On the other hand, the second choice is saying, no, I know all these cards are stacked up against me, but I'm going to do what it takes to make a change regardless. I am going to move my body every day because it's free. Even if I'm busy, I'm going to make time. I'm going to get up from my desk job. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to walk around the store I work at. Before work, after work, I'm going to take a walk, whatever it may be. I'm going to do what it takes to eat as healthy as I can, which means I'm going to choose the healthier options from fast food places. I'm going to order just meat instead of bun and fries and sauces and all the other stuff. I'm going to look into local programs that can provide food. And by food, fruit, veggies, real food, meat, right? Not any of the processed stuff that's cheaper. And so the point I'm trying to make here is the choice that you can make is that it is your choice. Health is your choice, but that doesn't always mean it's an easy choice. I think it's an important choice. I think that honestly it can be, for me, and it's an easy choice, right? For a lot of people it's not. So it can be an easy choice, but that does not mean that it is easy to achieve. And I think that's the biggest thing here. Wellness culture posits health as a choice. This is an oversimplified lie. And so if we're looking at health as not being a choice, the problem is it puts you in this victim mentality, which leads you to throw your hands up and say, well, if it's not a choice, why do I need to try? Like, I'm fat and it's not my fault. It is maybe not your fault for where you are currently with your weight. However, it is your responsibility to change it. You are an adult if you're watching this. You have potential resources, but even if you don't have resources, what you can build is resourcefulness. To be able to look at your situation and say, with where I'm at, maybe I can't lose weight or maybe I haven't been able to. But with where I'm at, what can I do to start moving in the right direction? What difficult decisions can I make? What time can I give up? What can I do? Plain and simple. So I don't like this mentality because it's a victim mentality. Where you are for all these outside forces, which may be true, but you can just stay there because it's hard. And I don't agree with that. I think more people need to take responsibility to do the hard things to get to where they want to go. That's a tough one for me, man. All right, we'll keep going. Number 2, the wellness industry is the diet industry, which suggests that food can prevent the side effects of being human. Not a thing. Once again, I'm assuming here, and I may be completely wrong, but I'm assuming what she's saying is that there are diseases out there. There are issues, eczema, stomach aches, bloating, headaches, fatigue, things like that are just a normal part of being human. And I absolutely disagree with that. I absolutely disagree. I know most, and this is my personal belief, and there's a lot of evidence behind it, that most diseases, most issues, even things like eczema, right? Random things, skin conditions, lots of mucus, things that you wouldn't associate with food, I do believe are connected to things like food, stress as well, which is one that's not talked about a lot, sleep, movement, all the things having to do with how you treat your body. And so that's what I'm assuming here. She's saying there are some diseases that, once again, I'm the victim. I can't do anything about it. If I have bloating, I just got to go get a pill from Big Pharma. That's what I'm assuming where she's coming from. And come on, guys. What would life look like if we didn't put these man-made ingredients that were doing all these terrible things to our bodies in our food and we were eating real food? I mean, the wellness industry is the diet industry, kind of. I think wellness approaches things from a little bit more of a holistic angle, but again, semantics, opinion, something I can't prove. Whew, one left. Let's go. The wellness industry garners nearly $5 trillion a year globally. This number exceeds the GDP of all but 3 countries on the planet and is up nearly 1.5 trillion since 2020. That's pretty crazy. If that's true, that is crazy. Now, what I'll say here is that Big Pharma also think it's over 1 trillion at this point, 1.3 trillion per year. And Big Pharma is a lot more concentrated, whereas the wellness industry is, again, I'm making assumptions here, and I should look into this more. But what I'm assuming is the wellness industry is everybody, right? Coaches, clinics, food companies, like, I'm sure there's so much that goes into the wellness industry as opposed to Big Pharma that are just creating pills and shots and sick care items, right? Number one. So as far as like companies, I'm making the assumption, and it sounds like a reasonable assumption. This is a hypothesis that there are way more wellness companies than there are big pharma companies. And so, of course, you're going to have more dollars a year globally. You could also argue that wellness is more effective than big pharma, meaning more people are able to actually heal their issues than if they're just popping a drug, which again, every single drug in the big pharma market has at least one known side effect, whereas sometimes eating things and fasting and doing things for your body is helping you without any of the side effects. I've had clients that have lowered their A1C from diabetes using just food. I've had clients that have, eliminated plantar fasciitis with movements that they do. I've had clients that have had like certain eczema, certain fatigue issues, headaches, bloating that again have been eliminated through food. And so it's a different mindset, right? While the number is large, 100%. I also believe in a lot of cases it's important, but I also will say there are a lot of scam, low quality wellness companies. Plain and simple. There are a lot of people who capitalize on wellness trends to make their money and then to peace out. There are people that are giving you things that aren't as healthy as you say it is, that have hidden ingredients. And so you do have to be careful. And so that's what I'm assuming the point. Oh, here we go. 1 in 4 well-seeking dieters will develop an eating disorder. Yes. I agree with this. I agree the diet industry is trash because dieters are typically saying, hey, you have to eat this way and there's no other way about it. You cannot have certain foods. They're placing an overemphasis on the number on the scale instead of how you're feeling, how you're looking in the mirror, how foods are treating you. They're going for trends of like fat-free or gluten-free or sugar-free, meanwhile ignoring the actual components of their food, which are ingredients, which again is setting you up for failure. Because if you're sugar-free but you contain sucralose, guess what? You consume that sucralose every day. You're damaging your gut health, you're increasing your appetite and cravings, and then the damaged gut health is going to extend to all these other mental health issues, anxiety, depression, slower metabolism, inability to absorb a lot of calories, and you're setting yourself up for failure. So it's no wonder, yes, I agree the diet industry is messed up. I agree that a lot of the industry in terms of health is messed up. So we have to start looking at things from a very holistic lens instead of a post like wellness that health is a choice. This is an oversimplified lie. Or there are 0 health conditions that occur only in fat bodies, right? Like, yes, it's true, but it's setting people up for failure. It's putting them in a bad state. That's all I got for you guys today. I am not ever going to revisit this person's profile unless someone sends it to me. I am done with this and I hope that you choose to be done with it as well. This is, there's people out there who have very interesting heads on their shoulders, and from seeing this, I can estimate that the people who follow her are not happy with their life, that they arguably have some mental health issues, that they arguably feel like the victim and that life is always happening to them and that they're always going through these struggles. And I can guarantee if a lot of these people took responsibility for where they're at and started to come from that place, like, yes, I know I've been set up for failure. Yes, I know there are a lot of predatory companies out there, a lot of poor diets, poor ways to lose weight, but I have the responsibility to change. You can only find yourself in a good place from there, because failures, anything that happened is like, okay, that was a failure. That was someone's fault, but I can still find someone that's good. I can still find a strategy that's good. So I'm hoping that this resonates with some of you guys. And if you are watching this and this is all new to you, but you are on your health journey, I really do encourage you to check the training in the description. Truly, from all the research I've done with nutrition, with fat loss, with lifestyle, psychology, habits, longevity, sustainability, I do believe that this strategy is number one. I do believe that it's the most important to be able to lose weight and keep it off, is doing it in a very sustainable way that benefits the health of your body. So check that out. But besides that, I appreciate you for being here. Make sure you subscribe if you're not. And of course, as always, make sure to eat smart, move more, sleep deep, and be grateful for this moment. I'll see you in the next video.